Let's try a bit of stretching. So first of all, just trying to get the spine really erect by clasping the hands but behind the back and straightening the arms. So the shoulders are really pulled back, so it looks like you don't have any arms. Trying to get some backward curvature into the upper back, which tends to slump forwards. And then hands round to prayer. And now we're going to do some rowing, but we want the action to come from the midriff. So when I reach forwards with the hands, the action starts in the belly. So my belly contracts, pulls my head forwards and extends my arms out. And then to pull back, I tighten up the lower back and try and arch backwards. And that starts the arms coming in. The action starts in the belly and the back, and the last place to move is the hands. Now the belly tightens, hands come forwards. Then the back tightens and the arms come back. So elbows back and hands forwards. We want to feel both back and belly. It's very much two sides, left and a right. And they don't really want to go together. So one wants to go out slightly before the other. So there's always a bit of a wriggle. And just slip into alternate. If we're not careful, this becomes just as mechanical as doing them both together. So there should still be an element of not wanting to go into phase or completely out of phase. Feel the medium that we're working in as though the air is water. It's thick. It's difficult to push against it. And then up and down. Then back to prayer. And both at the same time now, pulling the head right back as we reach up. And then hands up and out. One hand over and head. Good. Hands up again. Down. And then the arms behind, clasping the elbows and rolling the head, making a circle. And the other way. Good. And now rubbing the hands. And then placing the hands over the sacrum. So each hand is aligned with a sacroiliac joint. So here we have to be careful that the shoulders don't pull the head forward. So I have to pull my shoulders back at the same time so that it feels like my thymus is thrusting upwards. Feel those joints, visualize them like crevices. There's a gap there, and energy can bleed through from your hands into that joint. And now we're going to do a circle with the whole back, just inclining, rolling around. Keep your mind on the hands on the sacrum. So this will help those joints ease open a little more so that you can get into them with your mind at least. And then changing direction. And then back up. Okay, and now rubbing the hands again. Now rubbing the knees. Again, we want it coming from the belly, lower back. My belly contracts and then my back. The belly back complex is our machine. It generates movement, but it also generates feeling. So we want to be aware of the feeling that accompanies these movements. And then alternating. Now we're trying to feel not just front and back, but also left and right of each side. As the left belly contracts, so does the right back. This is what makes it difficult. And now just bring both hands onto one knee. And now we're just going to lean forwards. So using my arms to pull myself down, leading with my chin. And my arms push to brace myself for the descent. And then I push down to come back up. And now one hand on each knee, going down the middle. So pulling, leading with the chin, so that the back stays straight as long as possible. And just let the head go until it touches the floor. And then push down with your arms and come back up. And then one more. Let's rub the hands again. As with rubbing the hands, just feel the sacrum, the triangular bone at the base of the spine. Now we're going to put our hands at the back of the head. So imagine like a sacrum at the top of the spine, but pointing upwards. And then we're just going to place the hands over the occiput, really. So the imaginary sacroiliacs in the head. And relax the neck and sort of very gently just push the back of the head upwards to try and lengthen the neck. So the chin will drop and the back of the skull will rise upwards. Tip of the tongue on the roof of the mouth, just directing up into the midbrain, the hypothalamus, pituitary, pineal plexus. And then just back to prayer for a sec. Those alignments are still in place. Sacrum pointing downwards, top of the spine, so the occiput pointing upwards, and my middle fingers here directing my thymus upwards. And then let's finish with a bit of the butterfly. Squatting accentuates the sacrum. This position, my sacrum really dominates my body. The adjective sacral means both of the sacrum and sacred. So it's our sacrum that is the sacred bone, not the cranium. So as we have drifted away from the sacrum and into the cranium, we have become less sacred. We have lost the sacral. So they say in Tai Chi that when you're doing Tai Chi, you are all spine, and particularly all sacrum. You can feel it, if you really sink and become really round, then all of that roundness emanates from the sacrum. By stretching one leg at a time. The other side. And the other side again. And back to the squat. Let's try a little bit with the arms threaded through. And then let's lie down and cycle. And then just into the sumo squat. And then trying to stand up. Right. Okay, let's leaned against the wall. Stand so that you're pretty much arms reach away from the wall, and then just lean forwards. So not too much weight. And then just pacing. Imagine you're walking through the wall, using the legs and the arms to activate the lower back. So what stops these exercises from becoming mechanical is the feeling. Want the feeling to intensify and always threaten to draw us into a trance where we just lose all track of where we are, what we're doing, time, just totally in the movements. Good. And then just leaning on the wall from the back. So this is really the sacrum on the wall rather than the shoulders. Pumping from leg to leg a little bit to get the sacrum rocking on the wall. Like you're giving your sacrum a massage with the wall. Let's start with the heart qigong. So legs bent, but not too bent. Feel the lower back and the belly. When my arms come in or down, the belly is working. When the arms come up or out, the back is working. So this is the back, and then my belly contracts to pull my hands in and then my back, and then my belly. Imagine there's no gravity, so I have to use my belly here to pull my hands down and in, back, belly, back, and belly. Tightening the back extends the arms and the legs. Tightening the belly bends the arms and bends the legs. And now turning. Thich Nhat Hanh has that beautiful saying, you know, when you get into breathing, you realize there's nothing more enjoyable. For us, it's turning. All of Tai Chi is based upon turning. So we want to feel the pure joy in simply allowing the body to turn about its axis. So our way of generating levity. My heaviness is gathered into the center and my lightness is distributed outwards. Gillian used to say, if you're feeling down, just sing. I have a friend here who's a dancer, and she always says, if you're feeling down, just dance. For us, if you're feeling down, just turn. And then the second one, you just want to feel them very different. This one, I'm moving backwards into the back leg. The previous one, I was always moving forwards into the front leg. If anything, this one's more contained. Let the eyes sink inwards. Your eyes are part of your heaviness. Your ears are part of your lightness. My eyes are drawing in, becoming hooded, shrouded. My ears are just picking up everything. Feel the sacrum, the center of the body. You emanate from your sacrum. The sacrum is like the seed, the bean from which rises the beanstalk, and down from which extend the roots. And now to riding horse. feel the sacrum. The sacrum is the center of my physical body, if you like, my skeleton especially. And the Dan Chen, which is very, very close to the sacrum, is more to do with the sort of energy or the flows, the blood. From my sacrum, my legs split and descend downwards. And from my Dan Chen, the descending blood branches into the two legs. So I want to feel the legs as though the hip comes up from the sacrum before it goes down. I come up to go down. I go back to come forwards. This is Taoist, very Taoist. The iliac crests feel really dominant. These are the quivers of John. You've got real sort of hefty, bulky equipage here. And we just want to feel the inner thigh. So the big toe needs to angle down. So rooting through the big toe. That's the bit we tend to forget. I mean, we root through the heel because that's where most of the weight is. But then I can volunteer the big toe pushing down. And that will anchor the mind. The distractible mind needs to be tied to the ground, tethered to the ground. So these places here, the inner thighs are feeling like they're wanting to roll out. So now let's just go down and pick up the ball, but go down by thinking of rolling out here. So I roll out my thighs and my knees to get down, rather than simply thinking, oh, I've got to get down, and just going down and bending my back and hurting my knees. I'm opening the legs in order to go down. You don't need to go down very far, and then just coming up again. So rolling the inner thighs round to the front. And this is where the butterfly that we do is really important. It's these tendons here, the ones that need to relax. Good. Now just working on these folds here, the folds of the hip, with basically the two circle exercise, but thinking really in terms of yielding. So I'm pulling something in and folding this joint. The feeling is that I'm taking the other person into this joint. Rather than thinking in terms of pulling in the rope, which again tends to be a bit mechanical. I want to imagine I'm bringing someone into this fold and then just continuing the hand round until it rests on the cushion of air, just like we do in the form. So folding here in this side of the groin and then bringing the hand round. I want the fold here to sort of suck. The hand is being sucked into that joint. As though something comes into this point and then out through the sacroiliac, which I then catch and bring round with the hand. Good. And now just pulling from leg to leg, reaching out with the leg. Leg is just doing exactly what the arm is doing. Like I'm reaching out, trying to get behind something and then pull it towards me. So to reach out and create this curve with my arm, I have to really open here. Same with the leg. To do the same thing with the leg, I really have to open this point here. Again, the sacrum has to be really big. The sacrum must really dominate the physical body. Let's just bring it back to riding horse. The acorn is really expanding. That's a mental thing. It's like you're really determined. You've really pulled yourself together into this central unity on which you can explode. Now let's try the circle again, but now thinking in terms of just circling around the foot. So from the big toe, I come round the inside, round the back of the heel, round the outside, and then through the toes to the big toe. It needs to be slightly narrower. And then again, big toe here. So my big toe is pressing down, and I come round the inside, round the back of the heel, round the outside, and then through to the big toe. So I have to complete the circle. Right. Now I'm moving from leg to leg, but by bouncing. I sink into one leg, load it like the spring, and it bounces me out. I just need enough bounce to get into this leg. Feel the return, the squeeze up before I allow my body to follow it. And completely relax into the leg. And if I do that, then I will feel like I'm spreading here. And then the leg can squeeze up through that. Okay. Now let's try a little bit backwards and forwards. But rather than just doing this, what we normally do, feeling these places I want to bring the person into, and just circling the hand round and then going back. Hold here, almost folding double. So don't be afraid to stick your bum out for the sake of getting down. And then stepping forwards and back, and a little bit with the other side. And I'm doing a complete circle around the foot. So from my big toe, around the heel, around the outside edge and through to the big toe. Right, back to riding horse. Thighs wanting to roll outwards, the inner thigh. Feel the sacrum. Don't be afraid to make the sacrum the home of the mind. So there's something in you just wants to settle down into this point. It's difficult because the legs struggle with it. Big toes pressing down will help, as will the tip of the tongue, the roof of the mouth. They just help bring everything in. Internally gathered. The spirit is excited, but internally gathered. Now let's just try a little bit of stepping. Using that same technique that we've just been doing, the circle around the foot. So let's say this foot is off the ground. I put the big toe down and I just trace a circle all the way around the foot. And it's at that point of me hitting the big toe again, so completing the circle, that this foot can come up. And then I just step out, big toe down, and then around the heel, around the outside edge, through the toes to the big toe, and then that enables this one to come up. Foot that comes up is trying to wrap around the knee or the shin. The higher I get the knee, the more I can feel the sacrum, and the more I can sink into the sacrum. And then if you need, just pull, you can pull that knee just an inch higher than it wants to come. And that's really makes a big difference in getting the sacrum spreading. Okay, now let's grabbing my big toe, trying to bend the joints, pulling the big toe towards my sacrum. My heel gets into the buttock and the big toe gets stretched. And if you want, you can just grab the little toe with the other hand and try and spread the toes apart. Relax into it so that the lower back doesn't curve backwards. Still dominant sacrum. And then the other foot going round here. Grabbing the big toe. Back into riding horse. So it's a posture that really accentuates the sacrum. Everything is coming from the sacrum. My legs, my arms, my spine. The belly feels that it's furling inwards. So navel is sort of pulling towards the sacrum. In Taoism, they say the enlightened mind is the mind of the unborn child. So just imagine that baby in the womb, you know, it's connected to the world through its navel. So everything happens, all the communication, the nutrients and everything all passes through that cord. And as it grows and gets closer and closer to term, it becomes more and more in the fetus position, more and more rolled up into a ball. So more and more sacrum, that becomes the center of that curve. And then to come out into the world, it basically, the baby has to do this. It has to push through that narrow canal. So from being the ball, it extends into a light. And they're basically the two actions of the human being until we die. We're curling into a ball and we're extending into a line. And they are alternating all the time. And then let's bring the feet up. Big toes pointing towards each other a little, but the little toes still able to reach out. And the big toes pressing down. Like the big toes are trying to curl under. Some people can do that. Their feet are so flexible. The more I can quieten down and gather myself together and internalize, the more the guardian, so the wings, will unfurl, curl out. So let's just finish the way we do, but a few times. So just reaching out, like the heart qigong, bringing it all in, down, and then just taking the leg wings. So this energy that's coming out of the sacroiliac, I'll just bring it around. And then here, using my little finger as much as any other. So I've wrapped up my legs, and now again, I'm going to do the shoulder wings into the heart. Now this is more like the thumb, so like the thumb is catching the top of the wing, bringing it around, and then this hand. And then the head wings, so reaching out. Now bring the hands towards the forehead, and then just down to the very, very top of the spine, the atlas bone, and then just catching from this occiput and catching from this side. And I'll just shroud the face with those wings, and then I just come back. So let's just try those three again. You can bring the energy in wherever you like, head, throat, heart. But now here, down to the dantian, into the sacrum, and then out of this sacroiliac, out of this sacroiliac, and around the legs. Again, up into the heart, and now the shoulders, from the shoulder blade, around the shoulder blade, around. And then one more for the head. Into the forehead, down into the midbrain, and then we, from that point,